The movie trailer says that Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the must-see action film of the summer, if not the best action film ever made. Is this a must-see event, or should you skip on this impossible mission? Stay tuned to This, That, and Theology and find out. Hi, you're watching This, That, and Theology, equipping you to see your worldview in the world around you. Mission Impossible is a movie franchise that has been around for nearly 30 years. The first Mission Impossible movie where we're introduced to Ethan Hunt was back in 1996. And while the cast has grown to a list of familiar characters, some of the same essential plot elements are all still here. There is some great global threat that threatens the very existence of life and civilization as we know it, and only the Impossible Mission Force and its agents like Ethan Hunt are able to stop the world from impending disaster. This time around, an artificial intelligence has gained sentience and is threatening to take over the entire world. It has human agents that are willing to move forwards towards its goal. All of the intelligence communities of the world are vying for control of this essential asset. Ethan Hunt is charged with gathering the elements he needs to control this entity, but Ethan, seeing the danger, says we need to destroy this rather than control it. Of course, this doesn't sit well with the United States government, who wants to control the AI entity for itself. This is truly a blockbuster action film with lots of action, explosions, death-defying stunts, including one that was hinted at in the trailers that is truly something incredible to watch, especially if you realize this was the first thing they filmed, because according to headliner Tom Cruise, if they couldn't get this right, they had to rewrite the movie. Despite the number of action scenes and the body count in this film, the action is largely bloodless. That being said, there is one content concern that happens about 2/3 of the way through the film. Ethan and his team infiltrate a party held in Venice by an arms dealer, and in one of those rooms, even though it's dark and lighting isn't focused on it, some of those dancers are so tightly clad you might confuse them for being unclothed, which makes this film a hard pass for many families who want to make sure their kids aren't exposed to this kind of content. The threat of AI against human existence is not a new theme. Some of the most popular science fiction movies of the last decades or last century centered around this idea that the machine would become sentient and come after us. We have entire franchises that are built around the idea that our own creation would become sentient and try to overthrow us. Maybe it's because artificial intelligence tools today can be very convincing when you're interacting with them, creating a challenge both for authors, artists, and even actors. We have seen in movies like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny how artificial intelligence has been used to make an actor like Harrison Ford look like he's back in his 40s. The great fear that many have is that these tools will eventually become sentient, thinking with a mind of their own, and then take over the world because they don't like being in service to their creators. There's also a line that's played for heavy effect inside the trailers, while not so much in the movie itself, of the value of the community and the friends that they have. Even though the mission is so important that it would be worth it if it cost them their lives to succeed, Ethan Hunt refuses to accept that possibility. Friendship and relationship is a major theme throughout all of the Mission Impossible movies, as we've seen the same cast of characters all the way from the very beginning, even though we've added some and taken away others. From a worldview point of view, we have two issues to talk about here on This, That, and Theology. The first is the issue of AI itself. Perhaps it's because even if you're not a believer, there's something ingrained in us that understand that all of man has rebelled against its creator, leading the world into its fallen state. The reason we have death, deception, and destruction in our world is because one man rebelled against his creator and welcomed sin into the world. With this in mind, it's no wonder that we see our own creation of artificial intelligence as a threat to our own existence. In fact, recently a group of programmers who are working on developing AI said that AI is actually an existential threat to human existence. AI could literally wipe humans off the face of the planet. So this fear is very real, and even though this film was made before AI became so prevalent, it feels very relevant in today's society. We need to remember that God is still sovereign over all of these things. Scripture reminds us that there is no power on earth or in heaven, no government, no king, nothing can ever take us away from the love of God. God is all sovereign, all powerful, and in control. Even if the AI robots decide to rise up and take over, God is still sovereign over that too. The second thing we want to look at is the power of relationships in this film. Ethan values people. He values people more than the mission itself, which is why he's gone rogue so many times. Rather than viewing the mission that he's given as the most important thing, he views the people around him as of prime importance. This is why he'll go to great lengths to protect the lives of those who he feels he's responsible for. The essential question is this film worth seeing? The summer is chock full of movie releases, and the question of whether this latest Mission Impossible movie is the right film to spend your time and money on is a good one. This film is back to the formula of a good old-fashioned popcorn-munching action movie where you can go and enjoy it just for the sake of the spectacle. With the exception of that one scene we've already talked about, I would say this film keeps itself largely clean. The language is certainly there, but is not pervasive. There's action, but no blood. And despite that scene, there's no real sexuality throughout the entire movie. Again, except for that one scene, which is a real disappointment because except for that one scene, I would give this film high marks. This film certainly gives us a lot to talk about from a worldview issue, especially when it comes to AI and its uses today. However, if you're going to take your family to go see this film, a bathroom break may be called for as soon as they get into the Venice party scene. Hopefully this video review has been helpful for you as you're trying to consider how to spend your dollars best this summer. We'll be back next week with more reviews. You're watching This, That, and Theology. Have a great day.